Right, good morning everyone, welcome to Year 8's live lesson. Okay, today we're going to be doing ratio. Okay, once you've tuned in, make a start for me please on the starter and the challenge grid in front of you. Okay, I'm going to be turning the comments off. So, for the whole session, okay, can you have a go? If you've got any queries or got any questions you want to ask me, please just drop me a DM. Okay, if you've started and you're ready to go, have a go at the starter in front of you. Again, yellows are worth 2 points, reds are worth 1 point, and green questions are worth 3 points. Have a go for me, please. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to get that done. Right guys, 2 to 3 minutes, see if you can finish all of that for me. Again, worth 18 points altogether. If you want to, after the session, you want to send me how you did, that'll be brilliant. Yeah, I'd be really interested to know how you got on. Again guys, these lessons will be available all day, okay? They'll be available permanently on the page if you want to tune in. Last minute guys, get as much done as you possibly can. Right guys, so very quickly I'm going to go through each one, okay? So the first one we got a little bit of expanding brackets, okay? Very straightforward question, okay? Lots of these are usually, okay, but it does mean you have to kind of know how to do them. So first bit, 3 times 4, So I'm going to do everything on the outside times by everything on the inside. First things first, 3x times 4x. 3 times 4 gives me 12. X times x is just x squared. Plus goes in the middle. 3x times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. And x just goes on the end. So my answer is 12x squared plus 18x. That is the first one worth 2. Next one, red question. Okay, 0.5 times 0.8. Again, when you're multiplying decimals, I prefer to look at it as if the decimals weren't there at all. 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, if you look back to the question now, I've got 2 numbers after the decimal point. So I've got to count back 2 spaces and put a decimal point in. Remember, there's a 0 before the decimal point. So 0.4 or 0.40, both answers are correct. 135 times 93. Again, this is the same topic we did in the year 7 lesson yesterday. Okay, if you did tune into that, okay, get your grid done. Okay, you remember, use the method that you're most comfortable with. You don't have to use my way. Okay, I don't care which way you use. It doesn't bother me at all. Okay, it's all about getting a way that you can get right consistently. Okay, I find this way is difficult to get wrong. So on the top numbers, if I change my colour, on the top numbers I got 1, 3, 5, and 93. Okay, 1 times 9 is, I'm going to change the colour again. 1 times 9 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 1 is 3. Again, this method is so good because it's difficult to get wrong. You only have to know your times tables. First one is 5. Then I've got a 5, a 9, and a 1, which is 15. 5 and carry the 1. Then I got 1, a 3, a 7, and a 4, which is 15 again. Yeah, and then I got 9, a 1, and a 2, a 0, which makes 12. And then a 1 and a 0 is just 1. So my answer is 12,555. That was a green one with 3 points. This is a difficult one. Okay, these are solving equations when you've got letters on both sides. Now I know most of the year 8 people I know can do it when you've got letters on one side. We've got to make it look the same as that. So in order to do that, I've got to look at what the smaller letter is, and I've got to take that away from both sides. So my smaller letter in this case is 2x, so I'm going to take away 2x on both sides. Make sure you line it up with the x values. 3x take away 2x is 1x, plus 5 moves straight down. I'm going to draw a line in there. 2x take away 2x is nothing. 7 just moves straight down. So you end up with x plus 5 equals 7. Again, this is easy solving equations. I'm going to take away 5 from both sides now. Draw another line in. X moves straight down. 5 take away 5 is nothing. 7 take away 5 is just positive 2. So x equals 2 for 3 points. Factorizing. Okay, this is a topic some people might not remember. Okay. Essentially, it's the same as question 1, where you're going to put it back into a bracket now. So what I like to do, I like to line it up and set it up underneath a bus stop, the same way I would if I was dividing normally. So 3x squared take away 12x. Now I've got to work out what number goes on the outside. Okay, there's a number in both 3 and 12. The biggest thing that goes into 3 and 12 is 3, so 3 can come out the front. And there's an x squared and an x, so I can also bring an x out the front as well. Once I'm there, I'm just going to divide stuff. So I've got 3 divided by 3 is just 1. X squared divided by x, what happens is one of these x's cancels out, leaving me with 1x on top. Minus goes in the middle. 12 divided by 3 is 4. X divided by x, that just cancels out. So my answer, down the bottom, is 3x on the outside. 1x take away 4 on the inside of my bracket. And if you wanted to check, if you expand that, you get back to your original answer, so you know it's correct. Right guys, so 3x, I got 3x take away 2y, take away x plus 4y. Again, I like to make sure you get shapes around these. Okay, it's a similar question to yesterday. Make sure you get shapes around them. I'm going to put a blue shape, a blue circle around the x's. Okay, 3x take away 2x. 3x take away 1x, sorry, is 2x. Then you can do a different shape if you want to. I'm going to pick a rectangle, okay, around the other shapes, around the other letters, sorry. So I'm going to do a rectangle around the 2y and a rectangle around the 4y. Okay, make sure you get the sign in front of it in as well. 4y take away 2y is just positive 2y. So my answer is 2x plus 2y. Find 35% of 460 every single time. Always find 10% first. It's the easiest one to find. 10% of 460 is 46. Then once you've done that, because we got a 5% on the end, we're going to need 5% as well. Okay, I'm going to find 30% first though, because I need a 30 and a 5. If I want 30% and I've got 10%, I just times both sides by 3. 46 times 3 is 138. Okay, and if you want 5%, you just got to divide 10% by 2. 5% equals 23. 138 plus 23 gives us 35%. If I add those two up, add my 5 and add my 30 gives me 35. Add those two up, gives me 161. Very straightforward again, just find your 10s, find your 1%, find your 5s. You can normally make any percentage using those. Share £96 in the ratio 5 to 7. Again, this is the topic we're doing today. So, my shares are 5 and 7. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to add those up. 5 plus 7 gives me 12. I've got 12 shares. I've got to split the amount £96 12 ways. Okay, so if I do 96 divided by 12, you can either do this in your head or do it via bus stop. Both of those ways work fine. Okay, 96 divided by 12 gives me 8. So each individual share, so one share is worth £8. Now one person gets 5 of those. One person gets 7. So 5 times £8 is £40. 7 times £8 is £56. One person gets 40, one person gets 56. And very last one, probably one of the easiest ones on there, times in fractions. No one ever remembers how to do this, but it's really straightforward. You just times the top times the bottom. 5 times 1 is 5 on the top. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 over 30. Now if you can simplify it, always try to, okay? They're not even, so I can't divide by 2. 3 doesn't go into both, but 5 goes into both. So if I divide the top by 5 and the bottom by 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So 1 over 6 is my answer. Okay, always try and simplify if you can. Guys, that was out of 18 altogether. Add your points up. If you want to send me a score at the end of the session, please do. I'll be really interested to know how you did. Right, guys, so ratios. So a bit of simplifying first. Okay, simplifying ratios, quite straightforward, but people do find it difficult, okay? Important things. You got to see if you can divide by 2, 3, 5, or 7. If you can't divide by those things, normally it won't simplify. Sometimes you can divide by things like 13 and 11, okay, but normally 2, 3, 5, and 7 are your numbers. Looking at the first one now, simplify this ratio 9 to 12. I've got to try and see if it divides by 2 first. 12 divides by 2, but 9 doesn't, so I can't do that one. Does it divide by 3? Yes, it divides by 3, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So my answer, my final answer, once it's simplified, is 3 to 4. Similar thing down the bottom. Okay, 16 to 30. Again, does this divide by 2? Yes. So if it divides by 2, always divide by 2 first, because that's the simplest one. Okay, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Okay, does 8 divided by 2? Yes, 15 doesn't. Does 8 divided by 3? No, but 15 does. Can't divide them by 5, can't divide them by 7. 8 to 15 is as small as it'll possibly get. It won't get any smaller than that. Right, guys, can you write those examples down on the left for me, please? And can you have a go at the 2 questions on the right-hand side? I'll go through them in a minute's time. When you have done, feel free to put a like in the corner. Right guys, cool. So I'm going to go through these ones. 5 to 15. Now 2 doesn't go into both. 3 only goes into 15. 5 goes into both. So I'm going to divide by 5. Divide that by 5. Divide that by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So 1 to 3. That's job done. Simplify the ratio 4 to 20. Okay. 2 goes into both. Yes. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Can it be divided by 2 again? Yes, it can. So I'm going to divide this by 2. It gives me 1. This by 2 gives me 5. So my answer, my final answer, when I'm finished, is 1 to 5. And that's it. It's as simple as that, guys. Very, very straightforward. If you got those wrong, please correct them. If you got them right, please give yourself a tick. Right guys, what I'd like you to do, can you simplify the ratios at the top, and you need to try and match them with the bits at the bottom. Okay, try and match the ones at the top. All the answers are at the bottom for you. Okay, try and match the ones once you've simplified them. If you don't get an answer from the bottom, or you double up and get another answer, there shouldn't be more than one. If you double up and get more than one, you know you're wrong. Okay guys, have a go at the top one, simplify those, match them with the bottom. Right guys, last minute on this. If you finish, remember, give it a like just so I know you're done. Right guys, so you should have something that looks like this. Again, if there's anything you got wrong or don't understand, please message me after the session, okay? If you don't understand any of those, I'll be more than happy to go through with you. Okay, mark every single one for me. Always make sure you mark your own work. Right guys, cool. So, moving on. Okay, they should be all marked by now, hopefully. If they're not, again, it's going to be available 24 hours a day, so don't worry too much. Right, next one. So this is the proper stuff. This is the sharing in the ratio. This is how it properly looks. So there's always 3 simple steps, okay, every single time. Okay, when you're sharing in ratio. You want to you want to add your ratios together. You want to divide the amount of money by your total ratio, your total shares, and number 3, you want to multiply out. Apologies for my handwriting. So, I want to add the ratios together. So my ratios in this case are 3 to 4. So step 1, 3 plus 4 gives me 7. So altogether I got 7 shares. Okay, then I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide the amount of money by the total number of shares. Each share is worth £8. And then I'm going to multiply. So I've got to multiply £8 by 3 shares and £8 by 4 shares. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. So my final answer is £24 on the left, £32 on the right. What I'd like you to do, guys, get that down for me, get that written down, and then have a go at the one on the right hand side for me, please. I'll go through that in a sec. So get that written down for me, the one on the left, and then have a go at the one on the right. Give you 30 more seconds. Make sure you got the example down as well. The example is really, really important. Right, guys, so going to go through these, okay? Again, if you haven't finished yet, don't worry, don't panic, you just carry on and maybe listen to me going through it. Right, guys, 3 steps. So on my first step, I'm going to add my ratios together. So I'm going to do 5 plus 7 gives me 12 shares. Altogether, I got 12 shares. Step 2, okay? I'm going to divide the amount of money I've got by the total number of shares. So I'm going to do £36, divide by 12. Each share is worth £3. And then step 3, okay, I'm going to multiply each of the bits of the ratio. So one person gets 5 shares, one person gets 7 by the amount of money one share is worth. So I'm going to do 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 3 equals 21. So altogether, the 5 person gets £15. The 21 person, or the 7 person, sorry, my undo, 7 person gets £21. Okay, and that's all together. Okay, guys, make sure you mark that for me. If you got it right, that's fab. I'm pretty sure you get it if you got that right. Again, we'll do some more questions on it now. Make sure that's written down. Right, cool. So, what I'd like you to do, guys, can you have a go at some of the questions on the page, please? Again, if you get A to E, then I'll be really, really impressed. If you get A to E right, you probably get this, okay? Have a go at those for me, please, guys. done the first one for you. If you finished that one already, you can check your answer. Guys, if you finished them all, drop it a like. Last minute or so on this, guys. Right, guys, cool. So, can you mark whatever you've done so far for me, please? We'll move on. Okay, if you're not finished, take it a bit of time just to finish off. And make sure every single one is marked for me, please. The very last one, if you can't see it, okay, should say 120, 72, and 8. I know lots of my set 1 people probably got onto that. Right, guys, so well done if you've marked all that. Right, cool. So moving on. Right, we're going to do a little bit more problem solving, okay? What I need you to do, you need to work out for me how many white cubes there are in this whole Christmas tree, okay? Christmas tree is made of cubes at the same size. Think of them like sugar cubes, arranged in 7 layers to form a solid square-based pyramid. In each layer, the cubes around the perimeter are green and the others are white. This is layer 4, okay? How many white cubes are there in the whole thing? Show how you know. Okay, you're going to work that out for me. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to work that out. And then I'll go through it. Another minute and a half on this, guys. Have a real think about it. You're trying to work out the number of white cubes. Right, guys, cool. So finish off whatever you've done. Again, if you manage to get all of that, I'm really, really impressed. Okay. Again, these are really nice questions. However, you just got to make sure you lay out your work in a really structured way. I would suggest always do a table. Always do a table, okay? So I'm going to make my table up. I'm going to go for layer on the first one. So layer number. Then I'm going to go for white, and then I'm going to go for green. So white and green cubes. Now, layer 1 has just got 1 green on there. So there's no white and 1 green. Layer 2, okay, has got no white still, because remember it's just 2 by 2 greens. So it's going to be 4 greens. Layer 3 is the first one to have white in it. It's got 1 white in the middle, and it's going to be all around the edges is going to be 8 greens. And layer 4 is done for you, so you can just count them. There's 4 whites, and then there's 12 greens. You can see the pattern with the greens now. Layer 5 is going to have 9 whites, and it's going to have, these are going to, you can see these ones by here are going up in 4, so it's going to have 16 greens. And this is just going to carry on. Layer 6 and 7. Layer 6, instead of 9, it's going to have 16 whites, and layer green is going to have 20 greens. And layer 7 is going to have 25 whites and 24 greens. So the question asked is, how many whites did it have? I've got a 1, a 4, a 9, a 16, and a 25. If I add all those up, 1 plus 9 plus 4 is 14. Add on 16 is 30, sorry. Yeah. Add on 25 is 55. So there are 55 white cubes altogether. If you got that right, that's amazing. Again, these problem solving questions are meant to trick you, okay? So if you didn't get it right, but you think your working was really good, still give yourself some marks. Right, guys, very last one, okay? I'm going to go through some of these in a sec before we finish. This is just to make sure you really understand. So I would suggest doing a couple of these and a couple of these. If you're feeling really confident, maybe start on question, do the last 2 on both. Okay, have a go. This is just to make sure you really, really understand what we've done today. Right guys, last minute or so on this. Right guys, so very quickly I'm just going to go through some of these, okay? And then I'll put all the answers up at the end. Looking at this now, 25 to 35. You've got to look at what goes into both. Remember we did this at the start. 2 doesn't go into both. 3 doesn't go into both. 5 does though. 25 divided by 5 is just 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. So 5 to 7. Similar thing on the next one. Okay. 2 doesn't go into both. 3 doesn't go into both. 5 doesn't go into both, but 7 does. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 14 divided by 7 is just 2. 3 to 2. Very straightforward. If you got those, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, 60 in the ratio 5 to 1. Okay, remember we add the ratios together first. 5 plus 1 is 6. So there are 6 shares. Okay, next we divide. 60 divided by 6 equals 10. So each share is worth £10. There are 5 lots of £10, so 50. Then there's 1 lot of £10, so 10. So one person's getting £50, one person's getting 10. Guys, if you found this useful and found it easy, well done. Can you mark what have you done so far today? Guys, well done to everyone who's tuned in. I'm really proud of you. Okay, mark all your work for me. And then if you need any help after the session, please feel free to give me a message. Okay, I'm always willing to help as much as I can. Guys, and if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you like the video later on. Okay, mark everything you've done. Well done for tuning in. Well done for tuning in, everyone.